welcome to another edition of Beyond the Stands. I'm your host, Rick Semmler, and I got a very special guest joining me from Los Angeles, California. We're talking about Chris O'Leary in his first year as the Chargers safeties coach, and the former Terre Haute North and Indiana State football player and standout athlete is in his first year in the NFL. And, of course, my first question, how's the NFL treating you, Chris?
It's been great. Can't complain. We're headed into the playoffs. Been able to work with a really good group of guys between the players and the staff. And so it's been a really good experience for me. I've had a lot of fun.
Now, I got to ask, you played basketball, you did football. Did you ever dream, was coaching the dream for you, what you wanted to get into?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to be a coach from a pretty early age. Probably like 10 or 11, I knew I wasn't going to play professional sports or had an idea. And so the closest thing to that was coaching. And then as I got into college and started to I did physical education as my degree program. And I learned pretty quickly that I enjoyed teaching people, coaching. And so it all kind of culminated with being a football coach, and I've really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. And you spoke about you knew you weren't going to play professional sports, but here you are at the highest level, the NFL. Just, I know you're so busy coaching and this and that, but has it hit you that you're a coach in the NFL?
Yeah, sometimes I pinch myself. I felt that way when I was at Notre Dame coaching too. Like, that was always a dream of mine. So every day I was there, I enjoyed it and appreciated it, and I feel the same way here. Every day I come into work and I see the NFL logo, it's just a great reminder of how much I have to be thankful for and how appreciative I am of the opportunity.
That's completely awesome. I love it. 33 years old, coaching in the NFL. Did people give you a hard time? I'm sure some of the guys you coach are older a little bit. You're such a young guy in the NFL.
Yeah, we were talking about today. It's pretty funny. One of our safeties, Tony Jefferson, our birthdays are about a month apart. So we're at the exact same age. And I give him a hard time about that, and he does the same for me. So it makes it fun, though. The guys in the league want information. They want ways to get better at football. And so as long as you're on top of your game and you know what you're talking about and you do the work, it doesn't really matter how old you are.
I love it. Same age as them. Chargers defense, I looked it up, 6th in passing defense this year, top 10 in interceptions, 11th overall in yards per game. Having a pretty good season. What do you think of not only your safeties group, but your Chargers defense as a whole this year?
They've done a great job. And, we think the best is yet to come in these this weekend and hopefully moving forward. But they've done a great job of buying into the system, trusting the coaches, trusting each other. And they've really set a standard of defense when it comes to execution, communication, all those things. And it's been fun to watch and to be a part of.
Now, I know it's your first year, but, every game's important. But it's postseason now. How different have you seen the mood and the guys now that the postseason's here and, everybody wants to make it to the Super Bowl and win that Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think the urgency has spiked a little bit. We take pride in being urgent at all times and detailed, but I think it's just easier once you get to the playoffs. The stakes, the spotlight that you'll be under on Saturday. So everyone's urgency, detail, it's just all picked up, and it's fun. That's the best part about it. We want the stakes to be high. We want to be in these moments, and so we're finally here, and we're just enjoying it.
All right, you talked about, we'll move away from the NFL. You talked about your college career. You just came from Notre Dame. Before we talk about what you did at Notre Dame, I got to ask, how much have you been following their amazing season? I know you still know a lot of the guys there, and how much are you maybe still rooting for them in their national semifinal game and to win it all this year?
Yeah, I've been locked in. Most of the time I get to catch some of the game, whether it was on a Saturday or now when we get the evening games, I can usually turn it on my TV as I'm working. So I've really enjoyed watching them. I stay in touch with the coaches there, a lot of the players. And so there would be nothing that made me happier than to see them bring home the national title. I know how much it means to the university. I know how much work they've put in. And when you're around great people, you want to see them do well. And so all the staff and the players there, I would love to see them finish this thing off.
They certainly had an amazing run. talk about your time there. You spent 6 years there. You got to coach one of the best defensive players in the country in Xavier Watts. Just how special was that?
Yeah, that's the best part of the job is working with great kids who end up, being great players is like the cherry on top. And Xavier Watts is an unbelievable person. He was fun to be around every day, and to watch him grow and develop into the player that he is on the field was really special. And I had an opportunity to work with really good players there. And so learning from coaching them and watching them every day, it was just as impactful for me. And it was a blessing, and it still is, to be around great guys now.
You also at Notre Dame got to coach Kyle Hamilton, who's one of the best players in the NFL. What was that like coaching? I mean, just an incredible defensive player.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to take a step back and stay out of the way with the great ones. So I helped him in ways that I could. But, again, like I coach, Derwin James now and Kyle then, and those are great players. And so my role is to be a resource for them, to equip them with things that can help them, but also not overwhelm them and slow them down. God built them to play football. And so it's my job to just let them do that and keep it simple, let them play fast.
I got to ask you a couple questions about the Chargers. Everybody sees Jim Harbaugh. People in this area remember Captain Comeback with the Colts and the Bears and his time there. The guy just lays it out there. What is it like to be around Jim Harbaugh?
It's inspiring, fun. He does a great job with the guys. He's authentic. He's always himself. He's tough, blue collar, works hard, and so you feel like he's in the trenches with you as a staff member. He's got your back, and so to watch him lead the guys and lead our staff, it's been really good for me, and I'm sure it'll be helpful later on in my career too.
Another guy people are familiar with here, Jesse Minter's the defensive coordinator with the Chargers. He was at Indiana State with Michigan last year when they won the national title. What's it like to work with Jesse again in the pro level?
It's been a lot of fun, and he was the defense coordinator when I played, and I was the scout team quarterback at Indiana State, and then our relationship went to Georgia State where I was his grad assistant. And so just that journey to now be reunited again, I've always felt like he's a mentor of mine. On and off the field, he's helped me out in my coaching career and taught me a lot. And so when I had the chance to reunite with him, I jumped at it, and it's been a lot of fun.
You reflect back there on your days at Indiana State. I covered you as a quarterback at Terre Haute North, a quarterback and a wide receiver at Indiana State. So how does an offensive guy end up being a defensive guy, a defensive coach?
That was probably the best thing that ever happened for me was switching to defense. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of an offensive mindset and, what offenses are trying to do schematically and what they want to do. And so once I learned defense, it kind of meshed all together. The way I ended up on defense, I got to Georgia State right after I graduated in 2015, and the only spot they had was a defensive line grad assistant role. And so I had no choice but to take it. So I took it, and then as the years went by, I just never switched over from defense, and I ended up loving it. And it really fits my personality. Like I like energy, passion, competitiveness, and those things really show up on defense. So I've enjoyed it and wouldn't change it.
Got a couple more questions for you, and I'll let you go. I know you're a busy guy getting ready for the playoff game, which, again, his Chargers, Chris O'Leary's Chargers, play at the Texans Saturday, 4:30 afternoon in an AFC Wildcard showdown. So you travel the country with football. You've been at Notre Dame, Georgia State. You were at Indiana State, your hometown, Florida Tech. This Saturday, you'll be the first Terre Haute North Patriot football player to coach in a NFL playoff game. We had Weatherford playing one and win a Super Bowl. We had Petrowski. You had Anthony Thompson, Ernie Thompson. But you'll be the first Terre Haute North Patriot to coach in an NFL playoff game. How exciting is that for you? And how exciting is that to represent Terre Haute that way?
That's really cool. I take a lot of pride in being from Terre Haute. It's a great city. A lot of great people have come out of there. When you first said that, I thought like Cam Cameron, Trent Miles, and then I realized like those are Terre Haute South guys. So it's a privilege and an honor to represent Terre Haute North. I still take a lot of pride in the Bell game, so that's fun. That's a cool stat to know.
You speak of North-South. Did you ever have a favorite memory in high school, whether it was basketball or football, of a North-South memory?
The Victory Bell game, my senior year. That's one that will stick with me forever. We took it home, and then I think it was my senior year as well in basketball. I think we blew out Terre Haute South at the Holman Center. So I think we were 2-0 football and basketball that year versus South.
I got to tell you this. I was talking to head coach Todd Wolfley now with the Patriots. He was telling me, and you know how much he prides himself on defense, you were one of the best defensive players to ever come out of Terre Haute North basketball. What's that mean to you?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's hyping me up. He might have forgot. It's been a while, but I played really hard, played with a lot of energy, and I think effort makes up for mistakes in basketball. And so I was able to do that a lot of times. And I had great teammates. We had a really good team my senior year with Justin Gant, Thomas Anderson, and all of those guys. Those were good times.
Way back in the memory there, Gant and Thomas Anderson and all you guys.
Yeah.
Now, I see how good your memory is. This is the last thing before I let you go. I remember my favorite memory of covering you was 2008 high school boys basketball sectional. Last year of Jim
Yeah.
Jones, you guys were major underdogs against Plainfield. You beat them 62-60 because Chris O'Leary hit a three at the buzzer to win a sectional semifinal game. And you guys went on to win sectionals that year as underdogs and go on to regionals. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's one that'll stick with me forever. My dad was on the court before I think anybody else from the stands, but that was a fun season too. I mean, our student section at one point in the season would chant Hoosiers as we ran out because I think we had 5 healthy varsity starters. And, we were young. We had a lot of freshmen and sophomores playing. And I remember it was Coach Jones's last season. We knew he was stepping down. And so to be able to go on a run and win sectionals before he stepped down, that was special. And that was something really, really cool that I was able to be a part of.
Like I said, I had the privilege of covering you for football and basketball, and you had a ton of football memories, but that was my favorite basketball memory of you back in the day. Like I said, I'm going to let you go. I know you're a busy guy. Anything you want to tell the Wabash Valley before I let you go here?
No, just proud to be from the Wabash Valley and Terre Haute and represent Terre Haute North and Indiana State. There's a lot of great people that have come from there and that live there now currently, and so just proud and happy I was able to be a part of this interview.
That's Chris O'Leary, the Chargers safety coach, getting ready for the AFC Wildcard game on Saturday. His Chargers take on the Texans in Houston. That does it for another Beyond the Stands podcast.